And right now, Rush Limbaugh is here to go on the record. Right now, Rush Limbaugh is here to go on the record. Nice to talk to you, Rush.
Welcome back, Greta. It's been too long, but I'm happy to be here with you just now. So thank you for having me, by the way.
Well, the reason it's been too long is because you won't join us more often. I don't blame you because we've oftentimes...
the old performer's creed, Greta, always keep them wanting just a little bit more.
Indeed. All right, let me ask you about this scandal in Washington. Well, actually, it's around the nation with the VA healthcare system. How does this happen?
Well, yeah, I think there have been problems with the VA that you could probably chronicle since the beginning of the VA, and the overriding problem is that this is something government just can't do, despite the best intentions, despite the best efforts. It's something that a bureaucracy just can't handle. And I think the ultimate solution to this is going to be farming out part of it, or maybe all of it, to the private sector. And the VA, I think that the depth of this scandal, or the lesson of this scandal, is just that. If you want to know where we're headed as a country with health care, take a look at the VA, because this is the course that's been charted if we don't change it.
What disturbs me in particular about this is that apparently people have known about this for so long and looked the other way. And I know President Obama ran on 2008, and I heard him when he ran on 2008, but I didn't realize the extent of it. And that everyone just looked the other way and let these people suffer. That's what I don't understand.
Well, do you remember back in the early days when the president was selling Obamacare? One of the things that he accused the doctors of doing was unnecessary surgeries to line their pockets. He talked about doctors doing unnecessary amputations, unnecessary tonsillectomies, because they could earn a lot of money. He really, really insulted them and really blasphemed them as an industry and said, we've got to get a hold of that, get a handle on it. Look at what's happened here. That's the exact thing that happened. We had bureaucrats working at the VA who massaged waiting lists and ran people through waiting lists who had not been treated, all so that they could receive a bonus. And so exactly what Obama accused doctors, surgeons of doing back in the early days when he was trying to sell Obamacare actually happened here. I had a caller about this today who asked the very same question, why now? And I think the sad reality is that what you said is pretty much true. The VA has always been problematic. But in so being, we established a baseline of acceptance. The VA is X. It's just what it is. Why now? Because it's gotten all of a sudden so much worse. It's gone so far below the baseline that it is outraging people. And these kind of things, they can be ultimately useful if they're learned from and if the right lesson is taken from it. And again, I think the lesson here is that this is just something better left to the private sector, despite all the good intentions in the world among maybe the president, bureaucracies, or what have you. They're just not equipped to do this kind of thing well. This is not what bureaucracies should be tackling, be it for a select group like veterans or the nation at large.
But I don't even get the sense that, when you talk about the bureaucrats, I mean, somebody knew that somebody else was cooking the book. So somebody at that level knew it, didn't say anything. It's General Shinseki's obligation to know what's going on and then to report to the president so the president can make some decisions. I don't even get the sense that anyone was even talking about this horrible, calamity that's going on so that we could even fix it.
Okay, so why do you think that is? Why wasn't Shinseki reporting to the president? Why weren't other people maybe reporting to Shinseki? I mean, what is your theory?
I think because they're not doing their jobs, and I think they should be fired.
Okay, but why weren't they doing their jobs?
You know what? I would do my job. I don't, for the life of me, because I know General Shinseki. I know General Shinseki cares about the military, and he was a great military officer. But I don't see him doing a good job as Secretary of the VA.
What qualifies him? Okay, so he's Chief of Staff of the Army. The reason he's in the job is because John Kerry loved to cite Shinseki, who was the first uniformed Army personnel to stand up and criticize George W. Bush after all these Democrats had voted to go into Iraq and authorize the use of force. Shinseki stood up and said it's going to take hundreds of thousands and we don't have a chance. And the Democrats loved that. So they put him in this job, maybe as thanks, maybe as payback. But where were the qualifications? Maybe, at some point you have to ask, where is the real concern? You yourself said this has been going on for a long, long time, and people knew it and didn't say anything about it. Is it that they don't care? Is it that they put their survival first? Who knows what it is? But the bottom line is, you can ask why all day. If you have the courage to come up with the truth when you ask why, the answer is they're not qualified. They're not qualified to run Obamacare. They're not qualified to run energy. They're not qualified to run the economy. They don't have anybody that knows what they're doing in anything, Greta. Everything here is smoke and mirrors.
I don't know, but I would think that the General Shinseki, and I put a lot of blame on him, if he even walked into an ER at a VA hospital and saw a long line, the first thing I would say is, why is everybody waiting? Where are the doctors? I mean, just sort of basic questions when you walk into these facilities. And apparently no one bothered to do that, even to do a walkthrough and ask why everybody's waiting?
Until it hits the media, nobody is going to do anything about it. That's hard work. That's fixing it. That's needing and asking for more money, which is not the answer in many cases. And until it breaks and gets out, then it becomes CYA, which is where we are now.